mini vacay. So I've been working on a new Frost Arena deck, and it is pretty good. Um, so let me show it off first before we do a quick playthrough. Might have time to play through an entire run, we'll see. This is a deck that is actually a little bit of a work in progress. I might still make some changes to it, but I did keep it super cheap, so hopefully for newer players you guys will be happy. You'll start to see a trend from me now. Even if I make a budget deck, I'm always going to include 4 Spectral Acorns. Now, if you don't want to play Acorn, or you for some reason can't afford it, I wouldn't know why you couldn't, because it's actually pretty cheap. I'm not playing Acorns to crack them. I'm just playing Acorns for their draw effect. So basically what I do is I look at my deck and I see how many shards I would play without Acorns. And then I add 2 Acorns to the deck and I take out 2 shards. And then I look for 2 cards that I don't necessarily need and I put in 2 more Acorns. And that's how I come up with 4. So 4 Acorns equals 2 shards and 2 cards always in my decks. So in this particular deck I'm only running 19 shards, so that means without Acorns I'd be running 21. And the reason why is this draws into more cards, so you're more likely to get a shard even if you just have an Acorn in your hand. The reason why the shard count in this deck is low, let me just double check that I am running 19, 11, 13, 14, yep. So the reason why the shard count is low is because I'm also playing Shard Call with its equipment, and what this equipment does is it allows me to search my deck, and I take any resource in my deck and I put it into my hand. Now, if I didn't have this equipment, Shard Call would just be giving me any resource I choose, standard resource. One cool thing about this equipment that I'm not actually using a combo with is Primal Essence. There is a new shard called Primal Essence that allows you to accelerate your resource base. It also would be cool with certain shards like the Zinzis Silk. I can't even say that word, because you can like use it to get more spiderling eggs or something like that. But anyway, Primal Essence basically allows you to get bonus charges, bonus resources for everyone you play. So the first one's going to give you a charge in 1/1, the second one's going to give you a charge in 2/2, so that could be a benefit from using Shard Call to fish for it. Anyway, so that's why we're using the Shard Call Trinket. It's just going to allow us to get the shards out of our deck, so it's closing up our deck space, and Spectral Acorn is as well, so that we can draw into the threats we need. So anyway, you'll notice that this is a rainbow deck, or a midnight deck. Set 4 had a lot of cards that had midnight as a keyword. Basically, they get benefits from having all 5 threshold in play. So this deck is taking advantage of that synergy. I will quickly go through the cards. I already talked about Shard Call and Acorn. So this is the rest of the deck. We've got 4 Spiritbound Spy. We're basically just playing this because it's necrotic. It can basically die twice, and it's a 1-drop, so it's good early game play. Very helpful against like Avalanche Giant and other decks that have strong starts. We have 4 copies of Duskwing Shepherd. Again, on curve, it's a 2-drop necrotic. It allows us to sacrifice it to get threshold that we want. In certain situations, we'll use that. We have the Bonewalker, who has +1/+1 for each different threshold. He quickly becomes a 5/5. Usually by turn 5 if we play, or turn 4 if we play him on turn 3. On turn 4 we usually already are attacking with a 5/5, and if not, we can usually get in combat damage and choose the threshold of our choice to make him a 5/5 after. That's why these boots are kind of cool to play on him. and we're playing two Hextricators. They're not the greatest card in the deck. It's just a little bit of an additional fixing. Might be something we replace in the future. It's also an artifact, so it helps against War Machinist. Warbot. And I'm playing. This is another card I might drop, but it is pretty cool when it allows us to ramp into a 7 or 6 cost card. It's Midnight Fever, costs 3, and I gain 1 temporary resource for each different threshold I have. So if I'm on 4, I have all 5 thresholds in play, different thresholds in play. I play this for 3, I'll have 6 resources to use for the turn. So that would allow me to play some of my like 6 drops down here. Also, if somehow I have 3 resources but 5 different threshold, I could also play this on 3 and play a 5 drop. So there's some usefulness there. There's only 2 copies. I'm just kind of splashing it because it's fun and it's also not bad. 4 copies of Midnight Convergence. Basically, this is a permanent +5/+5 buff. There are times when I play it as a +4/+4 buff, but usually it's +5/+5 buff, and it combos with some other cards in the deck that I'll talk about later. Midnight Paladin. Basically, 5 threshold in play, he's going to deal 5 damage to the opposing champion's face, and I'm going to heal for 5. And then one less depending on if I have 1 less different threshold. Anyway, so this guy is one of the linchpins of the deck in terms of dealing fatal. Basically, Midnight Paladin and Bonewalker do the most work out of all the cards in the deck, just because you're going to play them more often than any of the other cards. Part of that's quantity, and part of that's just because of their power level. So we're splashing a few other cards in here. You'll notice that I'm only running 3 equipment for this deck, so let's talk about Grim Mandate. Grim Mandate is a necrotic racial card. And it says when a necrotic you control dies, if it has 1 defense or more, put it into play. Then that troop gets -1, -1. So we'll talk about why that's awesome in a second, but I'm also running the gloves equipment that says when a troop I control dies, if it's in my hand, deck, or in play, it gets -1 cost. So this can quickly become like a 5 cost card, so it's easier to play, and then I can start to combo with it later on in the game. And so why this is awesome? Okay, so let me point out the necrotics that I'm playing, and then we'll talk about that. So is it awesome for Spiritbound Spy? No, not really, because when he dies he's going to transform into a phantom anyway, so he's not going to be coming back into play to do anything important. Is it cool for Necrotic Ranger? Kind of. I mean, I can get additional threshold, but at that point in the game, after I have a Grim Mandate in play, that's not great, but Duskwing is a flight troop, so if I buff it with Midnight Convergence and make it a 6/8, then that has a lot of value. So like a 6/8 in the air, that's also coming back into play and then becoming a 5/7 and then becoming a 4/6, so on. He's still going to be able to do damage or be a threat in the air, which is something that the deck doesn't have a ton of. Okay, so those are 2 necrotic, but the 3 necrotic that Grim Mandate are really for are the high curve, which is Midnight Paladin. So when this guy dies and then immediately comes back into play, it's 5 damage to their face right away. So the ultimate combo of this deck is playing him, playing a Grim Mandate, chump blocking with him, having him come back into play and deal 5 damage again, and then buffing him with Midnight Convergence, and then just keep dealing damage that way until he's a 0/0. So he can just win the game by himself with a Grim Mandate in play. And then the Spiritualist. So we get a Phantom in play each time it dies. Even if we don't pump this Necrotic Cleric with Midnight Convergence, it'll still pop back into play once, because it pops back into play if it has 1 defense or less. So even though it's going to go directly back into the crypt, she'll put another 5 phantoms into play. So I'll get 10 phantoms for the price of 5, basically. and that's pretty awesome. And then we're playing the Scion of Bolasolov. Bolasolov? Jeez, that's not something you want to say 10 times fast. Anyway, this guy deals 1 damage to each opposing non-necrotic troop for each necrotic I control. Not very good against Paladin of Nagan. Actually, on my last playthrough, that was the only encounter I lost was Paladin of Nagan. Mainly because I had 2 Scions in my hand and I couldn't wipe his Corrupt Harvesters off the board. So that was kind of an issue. Anyway, this card with recursion is pretty cool because you can chump block or you can swing into something that's bigger than you, knowing that he'll come back into play after he dies and deal the rest of the damage on from his come into play effect with other necrotics in play, or just himself. So if there's a 4/4 on the board and I need to get rid of it, I can attack with this guy if he's the only thing in play, and of course the AI is going to block it. So this guy will die, and then he'll immediately come back into play if Grim Mandate's on the table, and deal another 1 damage to the board, and that 4/4 will die. So that's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's a deck. You'll see all these missing equipment pieces. I'm going to show you some cards that are upgrade options really quick for anyone watching. So, Prodigy, I think it's Prodigy, yeah, okay. So Prodigy of Volosolov. When you have all 5 thresholds, necrotic you control have +2/+2, even himself. So that's another way to make Grim Mandate even stronger, because those necrotics will have additional HP. I think this only counts when they're in play though, so it might not work with Crypt Recursion. He also has gloves equipment. It says when this dies, gain a random threshold. So that's kind of nice. I mean, we are using the glove equipments for Grim Mandate, which I don't think we would change. It's just nice to have. So one of the best upgrades for this deck is... Am I typing it in right? Yes. Okay. So the Necrophyte, or the Necrophet, he has head equipment that says this has -1 cost in all zones for each different threshold we have. So he also has a shift ability that allows us to put it onto somebody, and that card keeps coming back into our hand with a +2 cost. Seems kind of perfect for Midnight Paladin if we have enough threshold to continually play him. But he can get down to a 0 cost. So that is pretty great. I'm going to show you the most expensive upgrade to this deck. Well, one of the most expensive upgrades to this deck, which is Lady Cassandra. So why Lady Cassandra is great, I mean, she's a double diamond. She has a major and minor socket, and she has all these buffs that we don't really care about. But why she's great is if you happen to have her, and she's a Kickstarter exclusive PvE card, and if you have her Kickstarter exclusive trinket slot, you have this one-shot ability that reveals her and gives you an immediate triple threshold. You get Diamond, Ruby, and Sapphire right away. You can do that on turn 0, meaning the first turn is the AI's, and you use her ability during the AI's turn. Anyway, so that with the Necrophyte combos, and you're able to quickly hit about, 4 threshold in a single turn. So on turn 1 you can have up to 4 threshold, which is nutty. So if you play her and you play the Necrophet, that's a good combo. Let me show you a few other cards that are really great to potentially play. And you'll notice in this Midnight deck, the most contested slot is actually the Trinket slot. So Shard Call has a Trinket slot. Duskwing Shepherd has a Trinket slot. There's other good cards I could recommend that also have Trinket slots, like Forgotten Monarch. I believe he also has a Trinket slot. Yeah, so his says socketed troops you control +1/+1. Don't really need that, but what's cool about this guy is he also has a -1 cost for each different threshold you have. So he could also be a 0 cost play, and then with the major buff, minor buff, you can give him flight and +1/+1 to all troops, which is the double white and single sapphire gems. And he can quickly pump up your army. He's also necrotic, so he would be coming back into play. Okay, let's show a few other cards. It's like someone threw something at my window. Anyway, Midnight. So Midnight Shepherd. If you have all 5 thresholds, you can just target a troop in any crypt and put it into play under your control. So this card's crazy, and he's often played in Midnight-themed PvP decks, because this strategy is also pretty effective in PvP. And then one other card was, what was it? Oh, that's right, Lixil. So Lixil definitely replaces Hextricator, and you probably would want at least 3 copies in your deck. We'll look at the AA version. So when she comes into play, if you get to pick a standard resource in your deck and you gain that threshold. So immediately gain a threshold, and then if you have all 5 thresholds, you have Invincible, so she's super hard to kill. The only effect that kills her is Void, so she'd still lose to like Warbot charge power, but other than that, super strong troop. And I think that's all. I mean, sure, we could look at this card. If you have ridiculous amounts of money, you could play the High Infinitrix, which actually has this here. It says your High Infinitrix have 1 shot, create a Ryzen Lancer and put it in play for 2. So this ability, and I keep getting this boots. I don't know why I keep getting this boots equipment from chest. Anyway, this ability allows you to just keep reverting your High Infinitrix, so you can have like an endless combo with Grim Mandate, basically by using this boots equipment. You would be sacrificing the boots equipment on the Bonewalker, but if you're able to go this route, it's probably better. Anyway, so that's that. Oh, and then one other card I wanted to show, which is, well, there's plenty of necrotic cards that are worth putting in the deck, but the other card is actually a resource. Dust, it's called Dust, something, yeah. So Pulchra Crypt Dust. So Necrotic Allegiance, choosing any threshold you don't have. So it's really nice to have 4 copies of this in the deck. You can just replace it with other shards, other base shards. So anyway, those are upgrades, and I guess I'll do a quick run. I'm not going to be able to do a full run, but I'll start a run. And so if you're watching this and you like the deck or the idea, and you can think of upgrades that are not rare or higher for PvP, they could be rare or higher for PvE, let me know, because I'd like to maybe make a few upgrades to the deck. I know I'm missing equipment slots, so I've been trying to find things with the head, chest, or weapon equipment to take better advantage of it, but I haven't really found anything I wanted. So this is a hand that I probably normally would not keep, but I'm going to keep because I have a cool basic action I can copy, and I have an acorn that could draw me into more shards. And I'm on the draw too, so I might draw into a shard here anyway. And I do, which is great. Do I care about playing the resource first? Nah, I guess I'll just play a spy. We don't have a lot of turn 2 plays, unless we draw like a Duskwing or something. But we might be able to get in a little bit of damage here. Oh, that sucks. It's okay, that was a late drop anyway. Blood, so we need to draw a shard. Again, I'm not using the acorns to pop it, so just pretend it's not there. just within the deck. Oh hey Zaron, cool, I'm glad you're able to watch from mobile. I'm on vacation now, so luckily I don't have to travel to work or anything today, but we're about to go on mini vacay, so I have to do a lot of stuff today once 8 o'clock rolls around. Uh-oh. Oh no! Alright, come on, hit a shard. We need a shard here. Oh, that's almost a shard. So because we have a Midnight Convergence in our hand, we're going to take a wild. Unfortunately, we still have to wait a turn before we can really do anything. I'm going to go ahead and just attack anyway. Okay. Okay. Okay, got a Bone Walker. Got another shard. That's actually good. Really good. Doesn't matter what we take. We only have single thresholds for all the cards we play in the deck. Sapphire is the last priority in this particular deck because we're not actually playing any Sapphire cards. So Sapphire is the last card we will choose. I think next turn I might... Well, it depends on what he plays. Okay, he just played a copied Zodiac Divination. That's kind of scary. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do here... we have a few options. One actually really decent option here is to attack with both, and then play Spy and then play Convergence. The other option is to attack with both and then play Midnight Paladin. That gives us the most damage. So now we have all 5 threshold. Oh, nice, you're on your way home. Cool. So Midnight Paladin is probably the better play. Let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to put him down to 8, put us up to 24. Once he has board wipe, we might be able to win on the following turn. Oh, and he had the board wipe. Okay. Well, that's not the end of the world. I mean, now we have double Midnight Convergence for the win, right? Unless he has more removal, which I hope he doesn't. So I just got a copied Midnight Convergence that buffed up a single Phantom to an 11/11 for 3. Not too shabby. Ember Spire is kind of a pain in the butt, but Midnight Paladin still deals damage and just doesn't heal you. I mean, it's their only healing source in the game. Usually Bone Walkers are enough to take out Ember Spire Witch. Our starting hand's actually not bad. We have a Bone Walker and we have a Shard Call. So we'll play the Shard of Retribution for Diamond on turn 1 unless we draw into a Diamond. Okay, so Shard of Retribution. Next turn we'll play the Shard Call and we'll play a Spy. Shard Call for Wild because we have a Convergence in our hand. Okay, cool. We got a second. Okay, so we're gonna dig for a Wild. Now realize, because of the trinket equipment, we're also thinning our deck when we play Shard Call. So with Acorn and Shard Call, we basically have 8 cards we're taking out of the deck. Okay, I'm a little hesitant to play the Bone Walker here because I want to be able to have the Bone Walker survive like a Crackling Bolt. So I'm gonna wait until the following turn. That's fine. And I'm gonna see what he does in terms of removal. So I'm gonna slow play this turn. If he tries to remove the Shepherd, okay, he's not. Okay, great. So the Shepherd also works as like a quick action in a way, because we can sacrifice it for threshold at any time, which allows us to pump up a Bone Walker if we don't have all 5 thresholds. So next turn we can Convergence for +4/+4 or +5/+5 depending. Is this 4? Okay, so this is just the scenario I was mentioning. That's going to deal 4 damage, but I can sack in response to get the threshold I don't have, giving him 5 health and 5 attack, and he'll survive. And now I can knock him around a bit We'll just play Paladin. Okay, so weird scenario here actually. I'm not gonna attack with the Bonewalker because it's Ember Spire Witch. I do not want to see the 4/4 guys coming in to play for free. I can't think of their name. Heroic Outlaws. I don't want them coming to play for free. Okay, so now we're gonna get the win because we played safe. I mean, there's a few different ways we can get it, but we'll just we'll go ahead and do this. That was a little risky if he had a burn, but I think it's gonna work out. Okay. So far so good. Deck's playing well. So why is the deck called Mandatory Midnight Curfew? Can anyone figure it out? Does anyone know the card Grim Mandate? I'm using the word mandate as mandatory. And midnight, obvious, because we're playing a bunch of midnight cards. Okay, so we already have Blood and Ruby in our hand, so we're going to go ahead and pick Wild. It already gives us 4 Threshold in hand, so we're looking great for 5 by turn 4. We also are looking great for 6 resources by turn 4 with Midnight Fever, so we could play an early Spiritualist. Don't play Blood. Okay, Avalanche Giant could be, Avenging Angel could be an issue. I had a really interesting run against him last time around with this deck, where I had some of the craziest interactions with a Scion, a Vossilov. I got so much value out of my Scions in that particular game. Okay. So, Grim Mandate. You have all 5 thresholds, so he could have Repel. Should just probably play safe. He does have Repel. Okay, so what that allows me to do here is Midnight Fever into Grim Mandate. Next turn I can play a Midnight Spiritualist. If it dies, I get 10 Phantoms. If it lives, I can put Midnight Convergence on it and get even more. So I hope it lives. And I hope I can buff it with Midnight Convergence. Alright, it lives. He still has enough to repel, so maybe he will repel and then we'll get a bunch of Phantoms. We get 5 Phantoms and it'll come back into play. Sweet, thank you. Alright. So that's one of the combos I was talking about. Grim Mandate with Midnight Spiritualist and Midnight Convergence buff. It's pretty epic. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. Forgot about that Solitary Exile. Well, that sucks. We could be in a bit of trouble, actually, unless we draw a big threat. Ugh, that Exile was dirty. That was really dirty. Oh my gosh. Okay. How do we get out of this? How do we get out of this? I am not quite sure. I don't really want to chump block. Oh my god, Double Angel of Dawns. Well, this isn't good. I mean, one of my potential outs now is another Midnight Convergence. Do I just take... I can't take 8 here, can I? I mean, I can. Or Grumble. Double Solitary Exile. And he targets a Grim Mandate. Oh man. This is a little bit of bad luck here. I have the Scion, but I don't have anything to combo it with. Even if I did, I don't think it matters. Okay, I think I need to do some cheeky Scion plays here. so we're gonna be able to kill an Angel of Dawn, I think, unless he plays something larger this turn. Oh, great. Pretty sure he's not gonna block the Scion with the Highlands Shinobi. Yeah, we're in some serious trouble here. Okay, so that Angel will die. Oh, that's right, oh man, okay, I lost this particular encounter, unfortunately. Forgot he, exiled the Grim Mandate. My bad. And those exiles, that hurt. I mean, usually the deck has a lot more troops. I'm only playing 19 shards. In that game, I think I played 8 or 9. So almost half my deck's shards in my opening. Well, within the framework of that game, not the opening. Okay, this hand looks promising. Got an Acorn, 2 shards, 2 early plays. 3 shards. Acorn procs what? Another shard. I'll chump block here. If he attacks. Great. Uh-oh. It's good to have some blockers against Expert. He is reducing the cost of her mandate. Might be useful later. This could hurt. Uh-oh. Okay, so now he has a triggered War Machinist. Triggered! And we will have our 5 thresholds, so we can still play the Spiritualist the following turn if we want. I'd really like to take out the War Machinist first. I'm hoping he swings with everything here. Oh god. He didn't swing. No, this is not the best situation. Okay, we're gonna play Grim Mandate first. Oh, for the love of God, please attack with your War Machinist here. Thank you. Okay, so we got rid of the War Machinist with the exhaust effect. He still has another War Machinist for the proc effect. We can muddy up the board a bit with some troops. I'll probably target the Spiritualist if he can, which means I guess I leave back all the blockers. Does he have an artifact? He does not. He attacks with everything. So we'll block with the Spiritualist there, we'll block this there, we'll block this there. Could have probably made an artifact or an argument for blocking the Rocket Ranger. So look at all this good stuff. Alright, so he can't do enough damage to me for me to really care about not attacking with everything. Put him to 3, pretty much guaranteed to win next turn unless he has some sort of board wipe, which he doesn't. You got this. Terabot, that's helpful. That actually almost killed me. Okay. Just one encounter loss so far. Do due to some craziness with Solitary Exile. Otherwise, we had that in the bag. And Solitary Exile on my buffed Spiritualist was not very nice. You evil, evil opponent AI. Okay, I like to see Acorns and Shard Calls. I know my deck is getting thinned. So we're going to keep. We're going to do a Acorn into a Shard of Retribution. And then we'll do, we'll either do an early Duskwing or double Shard Call next turn. Probably double Shard Call. Because that'll thin our deck, allow us to draw into better stuff. Let's go ahead and get Wild and Sapphire, and we'll have everything in our hand. Uh-oh. Is that gonna ghost? Oh no. I guess they want me to play the Wild Shard. The green line from the grave. No! Is that line gonna stay forever? Okay. Like, holy crap, this line will never leave. So we could play the Paladin next turn. We'll see what we draw. Okay, great. He didn't get anything super crazy good from the charge power. Sure, we'll play the Paladin. Ping for 5. We'll attack for 1. If he attacks with the 1/1 next turn, I'm probably just going to take it because he could have a Wild Growth. This is a Bucktooth Roshi, most likely, so. Okay, interesting. So we have a ton of Necrotic. If we draw into a Scion, we could be looking real good. Scion here would do nutso damage. Midnight Convergence I wouldn't complain about either, actually. It would help me push. I'm kind of hoping he attacks so I could turn these spies into phantoms, though. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'll double block. I got 4 in the air. Ooh, I got the Convergence. Okay, so I can push in the air, or I can pump the Paladin. I think it's probably best for me to push in the air. Does he run Turbulence? I can't even remember. Let's push in the air. Should give me a win in 3 turns, which is right around when he triggers Roshi. Oh, it's not a Roshi, it's a Burrower. Okay. Well, I will trade with the Commander. Oh, no, I can't trade with the Commander. Oh god, that's a lot of damage. Oh no. Can I still race? I don't think I can. I'm gonna need chump blockers. Yeah, that's not good. I need to draw something good off the top. Oof. Oof. What? That is naughty. That is really naughty stuff. Okay. Well, we're we're not in the best position anymore to take this down. I'm a little concerned about not attacking. Wow. Really? So if I need to keep, if he doesn't block this, do I have enough to survive? That's really the question. Okay, let's YOLO it. Let's see if we can do this. We need to keep 2 flyers alive. How aggressive does he go here? How aggressive does he go here? Oh god, he goes in with everything. Okay, I gotta do some math. I don't think we can do this, guys. The block is 10. Oh man, that is too much damages. Okay, so I gotta block here. I've got to block here. That is is frickin' tons of damage. If I block here, that's still 16. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, wah wah. We gotta draw like a paladin or a convergence here. Come on, top deck. Damn you. You suck. Oh yeah? Well, let me pop the mic again. Looks like I lost this encounter. Unless he kills himself. That was enough. Alright, let's try again. We're already on 2 strikes. You really comboed out there at the end with double commander. I guess we could have played a little more passively, but hindsight. We actually had a really nice hand there too. I think this will be my last encounter because I need to get ready to go. But did want to show the deck. I think there is room for improvement. So if anyone thinks of anything, let me know. Okay. Okay, well we got Blood Shard next turn. We'll play the Bone Walker this turn. Okay. So Blood, that gives us, we can play anything the following turn. We'll take Wild. Drop our Spy, and we will attack for 4. He'll probably just jump. Yep. Could have given us our Sapphire Threshold. We'll try to get there. I'm not going to block the 1/1 if he attacks. Nope. You don't need more hoppers. Uh-oh. What the? I mean, are you serious? What are the frickin' odds that you get double Roshi, man? Are you kidding me? This game is angry at me right now. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but it is angry. Holy moly. Okay. Wow. I'm trying to think of the best defense here. That's really gonna hurt. I'm gonna probably have to sack the board. Oh my god. Well, when this dies, I mean, they get 2/2 regardless. I mean, I guess I just do this, right? Okay. And that was pretty dirty, man. That was pretty dirty. I'm not quite sure how I deal with this Shinhair and clear the board at the same time. Because these Roshis are effectively buffing each other. I guess I take 4. Okay, that's not too bad. Ah, the Scion would have been nice a few turns ago. Okay. I'm trying to think of a way to stay alive and also get off enough damage with the Scion to sweep the board. I'm might be able to do it. I just might be able to do it. Oh god, come on now. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be really close. And it's actually gonna really depend on whether or not he's able to push in with Lethal Crush or something next turn. We might be able to do this. Oh god, that is not good. Okay, so we're gonna put a... Do we need to kill... I'm trying to think if we need to kill the Roshi here. I don't think we can, even if we want to. Block and block. And do I have to block here too? I guess I do. What is that? How much damage is that? Oh, I think we have to lose this guy. Block, block, block. We're at 8. I'm looking at... Okay, I gotta lose this guy, but I can get Sapphire. I think we might lose here. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Well, that's actually quite awesome. It's just not enough. So this guy is gonna immediately die. I don't think I can heal for enough before I lose. Oh, maybe I can actually. Please block. Whew. Okay, I think we might be able to do this, guys. We might be able to do this. It's such a backdoor win, but I'll take it. I will take the backdoor win. I will definitely take this backdoor win. So what's happening right now is Grim Mandate's triggering. These paladins are going to come back into play and do exactly 10 damage. I'm going to heal for 10. Boom boom! Holy crap. That was nail biting. Alright, well thanks for watching. That's the deck. I just wanted to show it off. It's been a rocky run, but we might get to the end. I'll probably stream the rest later, or revise the deck and stream it again. Have a good one. See ya.